Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about GTA 6 and specifically who could be the big bad of the game. Trailer 2 does give us a couple of options, but maybe we haven't even seen the person at all just yet. I will be discussing all of that in this video today. But before I start, I just want to make it clear that these are just my thoughts and opinions and not base them off any leaks or rumors that might be out there. The first person that I want to talk about is Brian. Since trailer 2 dropped, there have been a lot of fan theories thinking that Brian is going to be the one that turns on Jason and Lucia, and that's going to start all the chaos that happens throughout the story. And that could be a possibility. But let's have a look at what we actually know about Brian. We know that he lives down in the Keys. He has a boat business that he used as a front for his drug smuggling business. But the Keys are just going to be a starting point for our story. I don't really think that Brian's going to have the reach or the ambition to go further than the Keys. I think he's quite happy being quite low-key where he is, away from authorities, where he can kind of control his own situation a bit better. If he is going to turn on Jason and Lucia, I can see him being the guy that we handle pretty early in the game, which will then allow us to progress a little bit further into the map, moving up into Vice City for some bigger scores. My personal thoughts on Brian is that they're going to use him in the story for us to build that relationship with, get a little bit closer, and then later on in the story there'll be a payoff for that, whether he dies or something happens that's just going to make us feel that emotion a little bit more. I'm fairly confident that Brian will not be the main antagonist for this game. But the next person that I want to talk about is definitely someone that we're going to have a heavy confrontation with, and that's Raul Batista. We know that he's a seasoned bank robber, always looking for talent, so he's going to try and recruit Jason and Lucia to get into some pretty heavy stuff. So we're going to be doing bank robberies, maybe a few other different types of heists, but he's definitely going to be someone that's going to be a little bit more guarded, a little bit more careful about who he brings in, because the last thing that he's going to want is to get any heat from the law coming after him. So he's going to be very choosy about the people that he brings into that inner circle. And it's because of that that I think he's the kind of guy that is going to likely to want to take out the ones that he does recruit, making all of those recruits expendable. And I'm calling it right now that this guy is not going to be someone that we'll be able to trust, not someone that we're going to like. He's going to be a real action junkie, the kind of guy that will shoot first and ask questions later. And for that reason, I know that we will end up having a confrontation with him. So after we do these heists, we're likely to have to fight him in some way, most likely take him out. But will he be the big bad of the game? I don't really think he will be, because the main antagonist of these games tends to be someone with a lot more influence, the ones that don't necessarily get their hands dirty. Where he is a bank robber, he's going to be right in the middle of everything. It is quite possible that he will be working for the main antagonist of the game, but as far as him being the big bad, he will be very bad, but not the big bad. Rockstar don't like to give too much away, so that's why I'm looking at someone else in trailer 2 that's a little bit more mysterious, which is going to be that cop that shows up in a few different scenes. He has been the biggest talking point since trailer 2 dropped, and so many fan theories have stemmed from his appearance. I even did a video on whether or not Jason would be an undercover cop. I'll leave a link at the end of this video so that you can check that one out. Given that they are cutscenes, I have no doubt that at least one of our characters is involved in those scenes, which is why Jason definitely has that question mark over him, whether he's got a bigger story to tell than what we currently know. Some fans suggest that we're going to be forced to do jobs for him, But that has kind of been a theme through so many of these GTA games so far. There's always been a corrupt cop that's trying to get us to do stuff for him, which is why having Jason actually choosing to work for the police could be a little bit of a different spin on the stories that we've already told before. But this particular cop could definitely be one of the big bads of the game. And if he is trying to use us to fulfill his own agenda, then he's going to be someone that we're going to be coming back to later on to finish that story off and take down. Out of the three that I've mentioned so far, the cop is definitely the one that stands out as most likely to be the big bad of the game, mainly because we don't really know a lot about him just yet. We've only just seen a little bit of footage of him. I do have one more theory before I finish this video, but let me know in the comments below what you think about this cop. Can we trust him? Is he going to be on our side? Will we be working for him willingly or otherwise? He's definitely one of the more intriguing characters that we've seen in the trailers, simply because of the amount of questions that it asks of the story and the possibilities of where it could take us. But the theory that I want to throw out there comes from one part of Lucia's bio, where it says Lucia's father taught her to fight as soon as she could walk. Life has been coming at her swinging ever since. Fighting for her family landed her in Leonida Penitentiary. Sheer luck got her out. Lucia's learned her lesson, only smart moves from here. To me, this does raise a couple of questions. Mainly because why would a father teach his daughter to fight from the moment that he could walk? Most fathers would treat their daughter like a little princess, not like a little warrior. The only reason that I can think of that he would do that is if he thought that she could be in danger. So what if Lucia's father was some kind of big cartel boss? This would make perfect sense as to why he'd want his daughter to be able to protect herself, because he would know that if he had enemies coming from everywhere, that could potentially affect his family, and he'd want to be able to protect her as best as he possibly could. So what if the reason that she landed in prison was while she was doing a job for her father that went wrong, she got put in prison, and when it says she got out by sheer luck, maybe this has got something to do with Jason and or the cop that wants to get to her father. To me, this just reinforces further that I do actually think that Jason being an undercover cop does have some legs, but that doesn't mean that during the story he won't actually fall in love with her and want to protect her and try and get her out rather than hand her over to the police afterwards. And I know that it is a bit of a stretch given that it's only a few words in her bio, but it does answer some of those questions that we have just on the way that they've worded that. And I'm just going to throw it out there as Lucia's father will end up being the big bad of GTA 6. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think this theory has legs? Do you think I'm out of my mind? And what do you guys think? Who do you think will be the big bad of GTA 6? There are so many different topics that I want to cover between now and when the game actually comes out. So don't forget guys, like and sub, you know the deal. There's going to be plenty more GTA 6 discussion to come. Don't miss out, and I'll catch you in the next one.